Hey boys, so by the name of this video, it sounds kind of intimidating. We call it the cross between the legs, hesitation, cross and go. And that sounds a lot harder than it is. So let me just show you in full speed what it should look like. Cross between the legs, hesitation, and go. Okay, one more time. Cross between the legs, hesitation, and go. The whole part of this that I want you to focus on is that hesitation. So if between the legs is too hard, you can do cross, kind of bring back a back dribble, and this is the part here where you want the defense. The whole idea of this part here is to make the defense think that you're grabbing the ball for a shot. What that will do is that'll get the defense on their toes, and then you cross in front of them and you go, okay? So again, cross, we'll do a backwards cross, hesitation, fake, and go, okay? Again, you want them to think that you're gonna pull up. You can't really put your hand underneath the ball, but you can kind of do on the side of the ball and go. Okay, so again, cross, cross, hesitation, and go. And by doing that, like I said, that defense is gonna be up, and once they go up, you go by them. So if you could do this, maybe try it 10 to 15 times and do it 3 times a week. I think this will be a good move to put into your toolbox of moves. All right, boys. The next move we're gonna do, we've done this a lot in practices, and it's called the blur, or I like to call it the blur. Different people call it different things. But what this works on, this just works on your hand-eye coordination. So again, stand with your legs apart, one hand in back, one leg in front, or one hand in front. And for purposes of this, I'm gonna bounce the ball, and then I'll show you the more difficult way. Okay, so you grabbing the ball here, we're gonna bounce and switch, bounce and switch, bounce and switch. So your hands are moving from side to side. Okay. Now, if you can, you want to not bounce. And if you need to get a little bit of a boost, what you kind of do is push the ball up a little bit to give you more time. You don't want to throw it too high, but you can kind of push it up a little bit to give yourself a boost. So do this 50 times, 3 days a week, and that'll definitely improve your hand-eye coordination. All right, boys, today we're gonna work on 2-ball circle dribbles. So, I think in the last practice, Coach Mike did some circle crosses. So this is the same thing, we're just working just on the circle part. The important part on the circle part is to get good circle dribbles, make a good round motion. We don't want to do this, right? This isn't really a circle dribble. Strong circle dribbles. But on this drill, we're actually doing 2-ball circle dribbles. A little bit harder, but same thing. Both hands, get good circle motions on both hands. Okay, boys, do that 50 times, 3 times a week. Hey, boys, today we're talking about crossovers. One of the things that I'm not a big fan of is in the app that we use, all of the drills that involve crossover are timed drills, right? So what does that make you do? I see Parker a lot. He's trying to get a good time. So crossovers look like this. Because obviously you don't want to do crossovers because that takes too long. So all your crossovers in the app are like this. In reality, in a game situation, you rarely do a crossover like that, right? Crossovers should be long, wide, low, side to side, and that app doesn't really allow for that. So when you're working on crossovers, I think the coaches would prefer you do your crossovers outside of the app. One of the things I like to do is I got a little rubber target here. The first progression in good crossovers is just getting the habit of getting the ball to bounce in the same spot every time. Just getting that good rhythm down and making sure the ball lands in the same spot every time. After you do this, the next progression is going to be starting to get it wider and lower, side to side more. So come on over here. I got a quick setup and it's super easy. This is just something I had laying around. It's a ladder. I got a broom and a hoe, and the poles are sticking out. So what I do here is I do crossovers, and it forces me to get the ball underneath the broom and the hoe here. And so it forces these long, more pronounced crossovers, right? Versus what a lot of us see is this, right? With these two things out here, you can't do these dribbles. it forces you to get long and wide, and you can kind of arrange it. The other thing I've seen people do is you could put a box with the openings on the two sides, and you kind of got to dribble through the box. Once you master this, do this 50 times a day. The next step really is the same thing, but it's really using your shoulders and your footwork and your weight shift in order to put your whole body into these, right? You want to kind of get your shoulders and get that whole motion into doing the crossovers. Here, right? So again, progression. Work on the same bounce. Come here, get low, and then start putting your body and your legs into these crossovers. Okay, boys, in-out crosses. So this is something that Coach Mike has worked on a lot with us during practices. And so this one really is just a lot of hard practice. So I like to use dots in a lot of things. You don't have to. I mean, this drill is just a lot of good practice. So an in-out cross is really going to be in, out, cross, and then in, out, cross. The key thing for this one, parents, is try to get the boys to work on dribbling in the same spot, right? So you want them to pound, pound, cross, pound, pound, cross, pound, pound, cross, pound, pound, cross, pound, pound, cross. Now, the other important thing is make sure the boys' eyes are up. If at the very beginning they need to look down to see what they're doing, that's fine. Allow them to do that, allow them to get the hang of it. But as they progress, keep reminding them, head up, boys, head up, boys. You can stand in front of them and hold up fingers, right? Tell them to read your fingers, and that kind of forces them to make sure that they're not looking down at the ball. So in, out, cross, in, out, cross, in, out, cross.